Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain, and I'd like to welcome you aboard Flight 226. Looks like we'll be a little over 2 hours en route. We're currently cruising at an altitude of 35,000 feet. If you would like to take off your seatbelts at this time, please do, and enjoy your flight.
You must have seen one more than once, beautiful and distant, thin and white as a trail in the skies. These trails are marked as inherent evidence of a passing aircraft. These line-shaped clouds inevitably catch our attention with ease. Official consensus states that they are formed by the combination of water vapor dissipated by engine exhaust, which condenses into ice and forms these mysterious and enigmatic clouds. For many, they are nothing more than aerial spectacles, attractive to the eye during the seconds they remain in the sky as witnesses to the passage of the aircraft. But for some, especially in some communities, these colorful trails, also called contrails, have come to mean something different and become symbols of concern and worry. In certain communities, people wonder why the sky seems to be perpetually strewn with striking contrails that glide like celestial trails. They wonder why some disappear in seconds, while others stay there for hours on end. Rumors run rampant. Some reject them in a mocking attitude, others believe them immediately, and a majority is torn between one and the other. One wonders about them, one wonders about chemtrails. Let's start at the beginning. What are chemtrails? Where does such a strange name come from? What does it mean? And what about contrails? Do they have something to do with each other? Do they mean the same thing, or are there differences? The word contrail is the combination of two English words, condensation and trail, which means something like condensation trail or trail of condensation. Contrails are formed by the interaction between the gases and chemical compounds that airplanes expel when flying and the gases in the atmosphere. Aircraft fuel burns, is expelled through the exhaust and reacts with the oxygen in the atmosphere to create CO2 and H2O. These condensation trails are formed by the temperature differences between one air and another. Airplanes have to fly at altitudes estimated between 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, and up to 30,000 meters in particular cases, where the air is much colder. Unlike warm air, cold air is not capable of storing too much moisture so that, when warm and cold air collide, the moisture in the latter condenses to form clouds. This is roughly what happens when two fronts, i.e., two huge air masses, collide with each other, or, on a smaller scale, when you inhale in winter and can see your breath condense into a small cloud. Once it is clear what the concept of contrails means, what are chemtrails? The word is a mixture of the English words chemical and trails, that is to say, chemtrails. Some people suspect that they diffuse gases and various chemical compounds into our atmosphere with unknown and unpleasant intentions, from releasing various pathogens to generate diseases in order to feed the pharmaceutical industry, influence the climate, control birth cycles, or even going so far as to claim that they are part of a plan to destroy or damage humanity as we know it. While their popularity has waned somewhat in recent years, the discussion of chemtrails and their consequences was one among the flashy trends on the internet for over 11 years, from 2004 to 2015. The discussion presumably originated on internet forums where the idea reached thousands of people. Whether dealing with intentional, global bacteriological attacks or conspiracy plots, many people consider worthy of concern the possibility that aircraft exhaust contains more than just carbon dioxide and water, which are ultimately the same compounds we expel when we breathe. It is estimated that worldwide there are about 320,000 functional aircraft, and two-thirds, more than 219,000 of these air vehicles, are in the United States, and that is because the sky is never completely clear. Right now, as you watch this video, there must be about 11,000 aircraft in the air. One of the places where chemtrails are a cause for concern is in the region of La Guarena and Zamora, Spain. In Zamora, about 13 air routes converge and approximately 200 flights fly over the area on a daily basis. For this reason, the skies over Zamora are marked by the constant traces of passing airplanes, which have worried numerous people, fearful that substances with dark intentions are being sprayed over their heads. It would not be the first and only time in history that mankind has used substances to further its interests and influence the masses. It is not even necessary to refer only to cases in the field of biological warfare in recent decades. Already in antiquity, in the course of the first sacred war between the League of Delphi and Syra, the politician Solon of Athens ordered the poisoning of enemy wells, and several centuries later, in 1155, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa besieged the city of Tortona in Italy, poisoning the wells that supplied the city with human corpses. Cases of this type have not been scarce in human history, as evidenced by the sinister race of research on pathogens, bacteria, and contaminants carried out by the Japanese Empire, Nazi Germany, and the Allied armies during the World Wars, or the lamentable history of research of the same nature that took place during that tense and long period of 43 years called the Cold War. Theories state that the way to separate chemtrails from contrails is their duration. That the latter disappear within minutes, while the former can persist up to half a day because they are expelling, along with the carbon dioxide and water vapor that every airplane expels to move, a multitude of other compounds with the intention of contaminating the fields, spreading pathogens and bacteria in the air to perpetually profit the big pharmaceutical companies' low-impact sterilizers. There is no consensus among proponents of this theory as to what the intentions of these mysterious spraying are, but one of the most widely accepted is the intention to influence the environment, either to combat climate change or to use it to gain control over the climate and use this as a tool of control. The real reason that some condensation trails last longer or shorter than others is due to altitude. The higher the humidity in the air, the trails persist and grow. If the air is drier, it hardly condenses at all. For these reasons, some last for seconds and others last for hours. In this case, it is not a question of what or how much exhaust the aircraft has, but how much water is in the air as it passes. The influence on the climate that we talked about recently, also called cloud seeding, has proven to be moderately successful in many countries of the world as, for example, China, with the largest cloud seeding system in the world, substantially increasing the amount of rainfall in certain arid areas of the country, among them the capital, Beijing. And what does this have to do with what we have just mentioned? Well, one of the methods of cloud seeding consists of spraying the air and existing clouds with dry ice and silver iodide, which promotes the formation of ice and precipitation. Quite a few specialists have stated that for the theory of chemtrails as a human spraying strategy to work, many more aircraft and resources would be needed, as well as a lower altitude, since spraying from such high altitudes would no longer be dangerous when reaching the ground. But it may be interesting to show that, although not severe, cloud seeding with silver iodide has been shown to have some environmental and health effects. Could some other compound be spilling into our clouds? Many people consider chemtrails to be nothing more than a hoax, a chain of unsustainable internet rumors. Others, that it is a meticulous plan of which few people are informed to influence the masses by means of diseases or alterations to the environment to favor the interests of a few. Could it be that certain airplanes deliver certain compounds unknown to us or influence the clouds to affect us? There is much talk about pollution and acid rain, which has caused dead lakes and ecological damage throughout the world. Of the slight but real effects of cloud seeding on some species, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we may be being bombarded by harmful substances? Do you think these are just rumors? We invite you to give your opinion in the comments. We will be ready to answer. See you next time.